Greetings, black sister queens, goddesses, and all gathered for this timely conference. I am Angela Harvey, known as Poppy Seed. It's a pleasure and honor to be here, and I thank Dr. Jan Etienne for inviting me to share a few thoughts and end with a Poppy Seed piece. The graphic and globally aired tragedy of George Floyd's murder and the new emergence of the Black Lives Matter campaign served to deepen the seeping wound that is systemic racism. It has been troubling black womanists ever since colonialists first infested African shores. However, the burden of proof that it exists does not rest with us. It is for the white privileged with their so-called unconscious biases to raise their awareness, if they will. It is their call, their work. But George Floyd's last words, calling for his mother, was our call to action. That is our work. Black womanists now pick up the matriarchal mantle that's inside of who we are. The war is on, and we fight the good fight as a collective. The black womanist can tap into the ancestral story written in her DNA. She can go back way before the man-made confusion of colonialism, patriarchy, racism, sexism, and other ideologies that have damaged, contaminated, and enslaved the mind. The deeper we go, we can reconnect with our higher self and raise our inner consciousness. The researcher can unveil hidden truths, which in turn lead to the answers and actions that will take humanity forward. That is our privilege. We have education and intellect, but it's when we are still that we can go deeper inside ourselves. At our center is the womb, unique to the female, where creativity, instinct, the ability to nurture, protect, and heal resides. We can find the story of justice inside ourselves. We can resolve our own inner conflicts and realign with our child spirit, our authentic self. That spirit that is non-judgmental, naturally curious, expresses its truth, acts on its findings, and doesn't stop asking why and how until it is appeased. This natural grounding is what feeds and strengthens the collective when we come together and organize. The old world order is breaking down. We are now in a time where what was hidden is rapidly being revealed on a macro and micro level. Black woman birthed humanity. Our collective energy, its frequency, has the spiritual power to rebalance the world. Black woman has the spiritual power to birth a new sun and light the way. As black womanist researchers, it starts from inside of who you are. Each like small black seeds come together to form an impenetrable oneness, like you all gathered here today. So, the meditative poppy seed piece that I'd like to leave you with is directed to you and is called Inside of Who You Are. Thank you for your time.
Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. Wet in there. Dip down, dip its own way to be. Gracious behavior is the savior. It seems to be inside of who you are. The sky is like a storybook with sand in your eyes. See the light, come and see the sunrise inside of who you are. Sun dips to the magic of the moon. Perfect magenta. In the center is womanhood inside of who you are. A child resides beside still waters. With spiritual eyes, come and see a sunrise inside of who you are. Resides beside still waters inside